Hey y'all, I'm Holly and welcome to my channel, Holly Go Read. Today we're going to be talking about Sadie by Courtney Summers. I'm sure a lot of you have heard hype about this book, and let me just go ahead and add one more person to the hype. Oh my god, this book is so freaking amazing. Now let me preface this with, I normally don't do well with hyped books. I went in not knowing what this book was about, just the hype around it. I didn't actually purchase this up front. I borrowed it from my library. I enjoyed it so much, I bought the darn thing. It is so good. So let's go ahead and do a spoiler-free review of Sadie. Anywho, okay, so let's talk about Sadie. Again, I didn't know anything about what this book was going to be about going in. I only knew the hype surrounding it. I wasn't ready. Oh my god, this book. So let's go ahead and get some trigger warnings out of the way. There are some big, fat, major trigger warnings coming at you for pedophilia, sexual abuse, substance abuse, murder. This book is dark. Like, it is this dark, thrilling roller coaster ride that just leaves you breathless and kicks you in the teeth so many times, but it's so freaking good. If thrillers are your thing, this is so incredibly interesting. It's told from the point of view of our protagonist, Sadie, as well as from the point of view of a podcast guy, Wes McCrae. I couldn't remember his name. Wes McCrae. So you have the alternating perspectives there, done incredibly well. I've also been told that this is the audiobook to end all audiobooks, that this is the kind of book meant to be experienced via audiobook. So if you have the opportunity to get your hands on that, I hear it's really great. But I myself read it first in ebook form and have now purchased it because it was so good. So we follow Sadie. Sadie's sister has been killed. Sadie knows who did it, and we follow her on this journey to find the killer, and she's on a mission to kill him. And then you have the view from Wes, where someone who cares about Sadie has reached out to Wes and been like, I need your help in finding her. The police aren't doing their jobs. So you have Wes kind of following in her footsteps, meeting the same people she did and finding out different information. It's this weird push and pull of dramatic irony of, you know what these things mean, but the two don't ever coincide. And the ending will just leave you wondering for days. I was speechless at the end of this book. Again, this book isn't pretty, it isn't fun. There are very few moments of brevity, or there are very few moments of levity, but oh my god, this book will make you think. And it's written so incredibly well. Just stylistically, and the back and forth. Sometimes I struggle with like back and forth formats. Forever Interrupted by Taylor Jenkins Reid is the example that comes to mind most quickly. I didn't enjoy the back and forth format, but she improves it much more in The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. That push and pull, very similar here. You're getting a little bit of ahead, but then you get pulled back here and a little bit more here and a little bit just back and forth. It's so dynamic and so compelling. You want to devour this book. I'm just gushing because there's really not a lot that I can say without spoiling it. Beyond that, the characters are so vivid. If you enjoy thrillers and none of those triggers are particularly problematic for you, I highly encourage you to pick up a copy of Sadie, rent it from your library. However you can get your hands on this book, go out and get it. It's so good. It's one of those books that's going to challenge you. Simple as that. There are some really heartbreaking truths about sibling dynamics, about family dynamics, what it's like to grow up with a parent with substance abuse issues, lots of childhood sexual assault issues going on here, and the long-standing ramifications of what can happen there. So much to unpack here. If anybody has read this book and wants to discuss it, by all means, go over to my Twitter and get in my DMs, because this book left me rattled for days. It was so good. And I know, like, leaving a person rattled for days doesn't sound like a good thing, but for me it is. I thoroughly enjoy books that challenge you, that make you think about something beyond your own worldview. And this was, whew, like I said, a freaking roller coaster of emotions. Every time you think you know what's going to happen, boom, it's gone in a different direction. I mean, I could keep rambling about this, but the moral of the story here, go get the book. Please, believe the hype. I'm not a person who usually buys into hype. This is one of those books, just like The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, where I didn't think that the hype was going to be worth it. The hype is worth it. I don't say that about a lot of books. Like I said, I've read a lot of hyped books, and they usually end up with like a 3 for me. This was a stone cold 5. So good. I realize that a gush review really isn't that helpful for telling you if you want to read this book. So here are some things. If you enjoy these things, you'll probably like this book. Again, this is a YA thriller. If you enjoy thriller novels, this is probably for you. I say that because you're following the perspective of somebody who is on a mission to kill someone. And not just kill any old someone, to kill a murderer. And the twists and turns of finding somebody who's been using a false identity. So she doesn't know his real name. And the twists and turns of trying to find somebody who never gave you their real name. And all the problems that arise along the way. If you also enjoy books like Taylor Jenkins Reid's works, where you're getting multiple perspectives regardless of time, like in The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, this is also something you may enjoy. Because we are looking at that from the perspective of Sadie herself, so we are experiencing these things firsthand. That is told in a first-person perspective. Then we also have Wes McCrae's radio podcast, where we are talking to people that you meet along the way through Sadie, but through Wes now. And you're hearing their voices. So it's only dialogue. You're only reading. Those perspectives, and characters don't always tell the truth. People don't always tell the truth. And figuring out what is real, and is this information that Sadie has the truth? Is the information that West has the truth? And seeing that characteristically of people's perspectives. One person's perspective of one person may be vastly different than somebody else's, and getting at the meat of why we think of those people the way we do. Again, we've got some major, seriously heavy content here, massive trigger warnings for pedophilia, sexual assault, substance abuse, and murder. These are big things. This book takes a really hard stab at tackling them and making them more a part of the conversation. I hope that's helpful. Again, I could gush about it all day because seriously, this book was a game changer for me. I didn't even think I liked thrillers. I haven't stopped thinking about this book since I read it. It's that good. Okay, again, I hope that was more helpful. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching. Again, my name is Holly, and go read.